Welcome to Vodafone Firestarters. We're here at Picnic in Amsterdam, a rather geeky conference, and we're here to talk about the urban future. And we're a traveling roadshow. We're traveling to fashion events, music events, and technology, and obviously that's the case today. And we're at the NDSM Wharf, a really cool area here in Amsterdam, and I think it suits the theme of the urban future well. And I've brought 4 experts, and I love to hear from you guys who you are in, let's say, 140 characters. Art, would you please start?
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. My name is Art van Veller. I'm a sustainable entrepreneur, owning and started a few businesses in the field of sustainability, with the main mission to accelerate the transition to a sustainable economy. We believe it will happen anyhow, but we also believe it needs some acceleration. So that's what we're working on with a few businesses.
And is it fair to call you the golden boy of sustainability?
I don't know. Other people can tell that.
Well, let's find out today.
Yeah.
Ime.
Yeah, Ime Bosma, currently working at Hives and TMG, the company that acquired Hives a while ago. Doing lots of different things for the past 3 years. Besides working, I have a passion for sailing and for my newly born kid.
And you came by boat, right?
I came by boat. It's right behind this building, yeah.
Okay, pretty cool. Renato.
Renato Valdez. I'm the co-founder and CEO of a little company called CardCloud. We do online business cards exchangeable through mobile phone that ties in with location-based services as well. I've started several companies over the past couple of years. Some failed, some succeeded, and yeah, that's about it.
And you just came back from New York and the Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Did you see anything that we'll have here in a couple of years?
I do hope so, definitely. Yeah.
And what was the greatest thing?
Well, companies like Uber and Square, for example, are...
Square.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can check that out. Uber and Square.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll come to that later.
Cool.
Hi. I'm Jan Vaatjes, co-founder of Extra World. We make mobile applications for premium brands. For example, we launched this week the McDonald's application here in the Netherlands, where we also make the application for the Hong Kong Tourism Board for the city of Hong Kong, as well for Amsterdam. So we try to make premium applications for the mobile phones from 2006 on. And
you're number 1 in the App Store right now.
At the moment, we're number 1 with the McDonald's application.
McDonald's.
So we're very proud of that. It was hard work. We worked about 2 months on this case, so it's good to see if it's successful in the end.
Okay. Well, it's not just the 5 of us. We got a room packed here. Really glad that we got so many audience. So please let yourself make some noise, and so we can hear how many people there are here. All right. Okay, well, I think we're all in a good vibe to start now. We've got several rounds during this talk show, and the first one is about the word on the street. And you've all picked some news item from last week or the last couple of weeks that you find really relevant. And, well, let's start with you, Renato.
So what I thought of was the fascination behind, the new movement of Amsterdam. That's
Amsterdam.
Yeah, so it's got direct ties with my company, of course. It's getting a lot of traction over here, and even when I go overseas to the US and talk to people in New York and San Francisco, you mention Amsterdam, and they immediately know what you're talking about. So that was my
cool,
concept.
because there's one American guy flew over the ocean, landed here, and said, "This is Amsterdam," and everybody follows him now.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's Mike Lee. He worked at Apple, started a couple of companies himself, and he got fed up with the whole, basically, Silicon Valley bubble mentality, and traveled around the world. Then thought, okay, Amsterdam is just a great place to actually, set base and create a movement, because because of the Dutch mentality, of course, and also partially, I think, because we have a great amount of very talented engineers over here that are cheaper to get for companies, for example, than overseas.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and he's getting some traction now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It
Yeah.
really helps, by the way. We acquire our developers from outside the Netherlands. Most of them, from Spain or Italy. And the name of Amsterdam really helped. It's very easy for us now to get new developers to the Silicon Valley of Europe.
Wow.
So it's we're really grateful for this initiative.
It's even by necessity. We hire lots of developers outside of the Netherlands. We even have developer houses here in Amsterdam to store them. But it's a necessity because we can't find them here.
So
same here.
we're living in a pretty cool age for Amsterdam, because in a couple of years this will be the new Silicon Valley for apps.
Well, hopefully
doing
not
well,
only
it's
for
doing
apps,
well.
but yeah.
Because you've got some other goals on your agenda.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would
We designed 2 buildings in the city center of Amsterdam. In about 300 years ago, we had the Golden Band, the Gouden Bocht. So we thought, how nice would it be if we now start the Groene Bocht, the Green Band, and get the innovation and the spirit and the entrepreneurship back to Amsterdam as it already was, like 2 or 3 centuries ago. But it needs to be in everywhere. Of course, it needs to be in the field of sustainability, but also in the application. But we need a little bit back that entrepreneurial, innovative spirit, I think.
And where is the Green Band? Is it a physical location or just an idea?
No, it actually 2 buildings in the city center of Amsterdam, on the Keizersgracht, next to the Herengracht, where the Golden Band is.
Okay.
So we are really trying to create a green band, and that should go into history as first we had the Golden Band. That was innovation, there was entrepreneurship, but it was also some dirty stuff that we don't want to talk about. And then 300 years later, we designed the Green Band. But green is not really only about sustainability. I think it's also about this innovation, this new kind of IT, which we very much need into the 21st century.
Because did you hear about Amsterdam before?
No, I didn't hear about it, no. I'm really focused on the sustainability issue, so I'm very interested to hear and learn a lot about the application and IT world.
And did you guys hear about the Green Band?
No.
Yes,
I did.
yesterday from a company that is moving into it, but I didn't know he was sitting next to me.
So let's consider this to be the first steps of
Integration.
Yeah. So you're making your own news, basically, the Green Band. And what's your news of this week?
Well, I was on a sailboat for 6 weeks, so I didn't read any news. But
Right.
Since you asked, and I looked up the theme for Picnic Urban Future, I thought, okay, so what did I notice in relation to this theme? And sailing from small village to village in 6 weeks' time, you get to experience a lot of the village life. And for years, because of technology and the internet, we've been talking about the world becoming a global village. And what I noticed coming back into the city after 6 weeks, which isn't that long, is that somehow I'm missing this village component of city life. And I would have expected that the internet specifically, and social networks and social media in general, would have changed our lives in cities a little bit and become more like we are used to living in villages. And that's something I noticed in relation to this theme. And I was hoping that especially app developers like them would change that and would help transform the way people live in cities and maybe become more village-like.
Let's talk about that later. Let's see how you guys are using apps to change the city. But I first would like to hear your news of this week.
Yeah, well, it's not this week. I looked at something which is already happening for months or maybe a year in the States.
Okay.
And it's maybe a tip more for people who want to start an own company. If you want to do something in mobile, which is going to be in home run, you need probably not to make a mobile application that does the same as Huis. You need something which is new, which is never have been done before. And you can look at the States probably. Things are happening faster there. And what I see there is a lot of loyalty applications. Applications who reward the customer going into a shop. So if you go into the Hunkemöller, for example, you get points.
A free bra.
Yeah, you can redeem that for probably discount on the bra or something else. And even that's like Shopkick. It has an ultrasound loudspeaker in the shop, and the phone recognizes that and it gives you points. You're checked in there.
That could be useful for Hives as well, right?
Well, yeah, I know the concept a lot, and I think it's funny because it relates very much to the village life, where you used to come to the little shop owner who recognize you and does some tailor-made offerings.
Well, I don't understand. It's not happening in the Netherlands at the moment.
Well, I know 2 initiatives that are working on this, but not announced yet. So,
are you guys working on something?
Well, I think shopping and making the connection between online and physical retail is a very, very hot topic, because physical retail, they want traffic, they want people in, and any concept, any digital mobile concept that can help drive traffic towards shops is very valuable. So that's of course an area that we're looking at as well.
The conversion on the internet is like 1%. Maybe if you do an AdWord campaign and you have like 0.5% conversion, you're happy. But if you have like a product in your hands, the conversion is way higher. So shops want to have people to the shop or retail agents, and have the people touching the product, and then you get a high conversion. So mobile is, or maybe Hives is a way to do that. So
any ideas how you could use this commercial idea for sustainability?
I think it is possible. I think a lot of people get a little bit tired on the sustainability issue because they think it is less quality of life, or it's boring, or it's nasty, or just not nice. And we try to, in everything we do, we try to show people that it actually is a lot of fun to do, that is attractive. And we need a lot of IT for that. We need a lot of services and new companies with new business models in order to create this new sustainable economy. And it's not a question if we're going to create it, because I think 260,000 people a day actually add to this world every day, every single day, 260,000 people more. And they all want to have a high quality of life like we do. And there are just not enough resources to do it with the current economic system. So we really need to change this whole system, and we need applications. Actually, we built recently an application for changing light bulbs in buildings, which automatically...
How could you do that with an app? Let's just think aloud. How could you...
Well, what we did is we put a whole database in it, and what you do is you walk to a building and you put in all the lightings that are there, and automatically the business model will show up, and you will know immediately what kind of light bulbs you need to change for the existing one, and how much energy and how much money you will save.
Okay.
So these are examples, but what really the next phase is that in the energy solution, for example, is that in the whole sustainable energy production, you need a lot of IT because it's very volatile. So sometimes the sun is out there, sometimes it's dark, sometimes there's a lot of wind. So it's very volatile. So we need a lot of IT to combine supply with demand. That's one of the examples, but there are many, many out there.
Okay.
From
a free bra to changing light bulbs, I think we already have a very diverse conversation. Maybe that's a good moment to move on to the next round, and that has a very simple name: yes or no. And I'm gonna say something, and if you agree that, you just say yes, and if you don't, no, and afterwards we'll discuss that. So, first one, cars shouldn't be allowed in the center of Amsterdam. Do you agree or don't?
Shouldn't or should?
Shouldn't.
No.
No cars in Amsterdam.
No, yeah, I have a car in the center of Amsterdam, so I want.
Okay. No. Okay. No.
No.
Okay.
They should move.
So
no cars for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Only electric.
All right.
I think it's much better with bicycles and people walking, and it's more natural and healthier.
Yeah, I think I partly agree. I think the future lies in car sharing services, and especially electric car sharing services. I think this is a very great thing.
I agree that cars shouldn't be allowed in Amsterdam, because if you have so many cars and so many people in the same city, it's not good, not healthy. So I think you're right. Yeah.
Well, I think that's a very interesting statement, and I fully agree with that. I think Amsterdam is a place where you could possibly make much better use of the space. And I also know just in my short experience in Amsterdam, there's also been a problem related to parking. So either it means it has to be removed completely, or alternatively, maybe someone can come up with some innovative ideas of how we can solve the problem of parking.
I do agree. I do like that Amsterdam is somehow a very sustainable village or city, let's call it. And cars are very good to not be allowed in the center and maybe even farther because it's polluted and it's just too noisy and chaotic.
Okay, so we've got 2 no's, 2 yes. Why should...
No, he says no.
I say no cars, but only electric.
Yeah,
like
but that's still an ugly car.
So is that
in a beautiful street? So
okay. In the end, I think no cars. No.
Okay, so even if they're electric. So
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I just...
So you're the only guy here who wants cars in the center of Amsterdam. He lives there. He has a personal interest.
What can you do without a car?
How would your life change?
No, that's exactly the point. My point. I think as long as we allow cars in the city, nobody gets the right incentive to develop something as an alternative. So if we force cars out of Amsterdam, let's see how fast we get new ways of transportation through the city.
Look at Venetië. They move everything with on the water, you know, in the canals. So that's a better way of
Do you have a boat too?
I live at a canal, so it should be possible. But for example, if you go abroad or you go to an appointment in Utrecht,
yeah,
it's very handy if you have if you have an electric car, you can get a parking place in front of your house at the canal from the government, and you can just drive away to Utrecht. Otherwise, you have to go with the public transportation to a hub, get your car there. It's very inconvenient.
But shouldn't it be defined different? I mean, there's a big difference between personal transportation and, getting goods, for example, to shops and everything else. I don't think that it's possible to completely take cars or trucks, for example, away from the city to bring in.
It's a pretty big challenge.
Exactly.
I guess. Yeah. What are the advantages of getting rid of the cars? Why should we even want it?
Well, first of all, I think everyone agrees that it's very annoying to have all the trucks in the city. And that's, I think, one of the first things we need to get rid of. But
how are we going to get rid of those trucks? Because we do want to get our free bras at Hankemoller.
Well,
so
for example,
how did it get there?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, for example, use the canals, but also use the trams that are there. So there was a business model for it. But that's the first thing that's annoying. But the second thing is that these cars and trucks produce a lot of fijnstof, particular matter, which is very polluting and not good for your health. It's actually causing cancer, lung cancer. So that's the second reason. The third reason that is very nice to just walk out there and have no cars and no noise.
But 2 years ago at Picnic there was the Green Challenge, and the winner was a concept that had this idea.
Yeah.
For what happened to it?
No, there have been many ideas for the trams. I didn't think he won it.
Oh, okay.
But I think the reason that it didn't happen is that, we have a conservative government and we have conservative old business models that actually are not really in favor of these solutions. So
Let's see what the audience thinks. Who wants to get rid of the cars in Amsterdam? That's not a majority, so...
Now ask who has a car and then you see all the others.
So I think, who has a car in Amsterdam?
It's all the others.
Right, okay. You've got some work to do, but you might get there.
One more thing about this. I think this is a very nice example of where we can combine the world of IT and applications with sustainable solutions. So I know a few companies that are working on solutions on an application actually, where you can type in, okay, I want to go to Utrecht. What is the fastest way to get there? What is the cleanest way or the most sustainable way to get there? And what is the cheapest way to get there? And automatically the application will calculate how you get there. And of course, we need new business models and new kind of transportation systems to really get there. But this is a start, I think.
A push notification when your battery is charged.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He just wants to take his car. Who can blame him? Okay, the second statement. Smartphones are killing random encounters with fellow citizens. I do know you a bit better than just today, and I know that you are in love with your smartphone.
Definitely, yeah.
So you.
But I completely disagree with that.
So okay, that's a no.
I would disagree too.
No.
Disagree.
No.
Well, I think I would agree, but I would have hoped to see it otherwise, yeah.
Okay. 3 no's, 1 yes.
I don't think so. I think they enable the communication between citizens. So I think they're a way of communicating even better with each other. Yes, I think I'm traveling by train every day, and I think it does.
You're only talking to your phone or to your iPad, I don't know, any form of social media, and you don't have any attention for the people around you. And I think it's more important to pay attention to what is going on around you instead of only the people you want to talk to.
Oh yeah, the question is what would we do without a smartphone nowadays? You know, everybody has it, but yeah, it's difficult to say. Smartphone saves your life many times, so.
No, I don't agree. I think smartphones actually stimulate encounters with fellow citizens. I mean, I'm a big fan of Foursquare, and not many of my friends are, but whenever I check in somewhere, I always check out who's there when there's someone there.
Who thinks smartphones are killing random encounters with fellow citizens? Okay. All right, that's like around 10 people, something like that. Why do you think our social interaction is getting
I think I am the least expert in this field, but my personal experience is that you actually can meet a lot of local people with your smartphone if you are somewhere in a place you don't know. So you have many applications that get you in very interesting places which you will not be able to get there if you didn't use your iPhone or smartphone application. So.
Mm-hmm. Have you experienced that during your recent travels to the States?
Well, I think it's a matter of cultural differences, actually. So I imagine the time before we had smartphones or mobile phones altogether, and I'd sit in public transport, for example, and then I'd just grab my Walkman or Discman at the time, put that on, and stick in my own bubble. And now people use smartphones to do the same thing, basically, but it's still not very common for each other to, for people to talk to each other, on a random basis. When I go to New York or San Francisco, you sit in public transport or on the subway, and it's very common for you to just start a random conversation with somebody, and they're very much willing to respond to that and just talk about whatever. It's just small talk. So in particular, in relation to what's happening over here, I really think it's more a cultural thing.
Okay, so we can just use smartphones because Dutch people won't talk to each other anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's perfect for the Dutch and the Japanese as well, for example. I mean,
okay.
Yeah.
And what about the States? If you project this statement on the States?
I'm not sure. I mean, you shouldn't be expecting some in-depth conversation or anything. It's just small talk, but they are a little bit easier to talk to in public.
Okay, so let's narrow it down a bit. What about smartphones at dinner?
Not allowed.
Not allowed?
Not allowed, no, I don't like it.
Okay.
It depends on who you're with.
Right. When is it allowed?
That's true. Well, like I said, it really depends. I mean, when I'm with really good friends or fellow entrepreneurs, for example, that are in the same business, it's common to check your phone every once in a while. But you also do know that once you're having a proper, good conversation, that you just don't pick it up.
So then it's a matter of, guys, let's put away the smartphone. Let's talk.
No, you don't even need to put in the effort to put away the phone. It's logical not to pick up the phone then.
Are you using your smartphone during dinner?
I must admit I'm a bit hooked up. I'm checking my smartphone too often. I heard that from my girlfriend, so I'm probably a bad example of this.
Okay. Ever get angry reactions or people just...
Well, in the end they get angry indeed. I keep on... It's maybe... I'm doing it quite a lot. I'm always checking my mail. Some project is going well or whatever. I must admit I'm quite hooked up to my phone. I went on holiday this year, and for the first time since years, I put it totally off, my roaming.
Okay.
And I must say it felt quite relieved after a week or two, but
okay.
Normally I put it on.
Well, I feel honored that the smartphones are still under the table, so let's see if we can keep that up more. Third statement, the government should take care of wireless internet everywhere. Yes or no?
No.
No?
Yeah.
Yes.
Depends where they pay it from.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it should help, but I think it should also be privately managed. I don't like government intervention very much.
Yeah, I think that would really, really be the future, to have access to Wi-Fi everywhere, preferably for free, but I'm not sure if that's even possible.
I don't think that's necessary. I think people that are willing to communicate to the outside world, they will take care of that themselves. So I don't think the government should bother with that.
I thought the government does, doesn't it? Well, if it doesn't, they really should. Yes, they should really take care of it. I think, especially knowing, I'm not sure how unhealthy wireless can be for humans, but I thought they really did.
I think the government should take care of Wi-Fi in the city. They do it in South Africa as well, and it works very well, so I think it's much better to use that.
And why no free Wi-Fi in the park?
I think everything which the government does is most of the time the market does it better. So free Wi-Fi is probably made by the government. It's much more expensive. In the end, we pay it. It's not free because we pay it from our tax money. Probably in a more expensive way than we should do it with the Vodafones of the world or the other companies. So in the end, you still pay, and probably more than you would have if you have different companies battling each other for the cheapest Wi-Fi.
Yeah, right now I think the wireless internet experience is lousy, and I think it would definitely help us as a society, as an economy, to, let's say, at least stimulate the building of infrastructure when it comes to internet access, whether that be wireless or fixed. And it doesn't go fast enough if you leave it to the market, and it's only there where there are lots of people. So I would, I disagree.
So what would be the practical advantage?
An advantage?
Yeah, of having Wi-Fi everywhere.
Well, that I can use my smartphone at every dinner, or you know. No, I think it's such a basic need by now to have internet access and to be, you know, connected to anything and everyone all the time, that we maybe now we can't even yet think of what would be the advantage of having it. But I am so much a believer of having internet access everywhere that I'm sure it will be advantage.
You had a little trouble with the yes or no part?
Yeah, exactly what my colleague is telling, like that who is paying it and what is the party that can most efficiently put it into practice. And in the end, we will pay it anyhow. So I agree with you. And after hearing your arguments, I agree that the government shouldn't pay for it, actually.
So you shifted camps. Yeah. Okay. You have anything to add about this,
Yeah,
Renato?
I mean, for me, the operators, they provide us, you know, with Wi-Fi, but with such a lousy user experience, and I'm really willing to pay, you know, a lot more to get just open Wi-Fi somewhere. But on the other hand, we live in a first world country, and I think that internet should be part of, you know, basic human rights here as well. Yeah.
Basic human rights. Yeah, basic human rights. That's a good statement to end this one. Yeah. Okay. So next round, I was asked to bring a conversation piece. So I brought this, a simple business card. And you'd think, why is that a conversation piece? Well, this guy sitting next to me wants to kill business cards, right?
Eventually.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are you going to do that?
The only way we're going to do that is by playing well with the paper cards. Yeah.
And why do you want to get rid of this nice little paper card?
It's not much. I think it should be formulated differently. We do not want to kill it. It's very hard to kill, you know, a medium that's been there for over 200 years. Mm-hmm. You know, when people started using business cards, first was documented, I think about 200 years ago, merchants that just left their contact information with each other. Was just address information. But the thing about, you know, paper business cards, that it's a very, you know, it's a nice object. It's very elegant, extremely simple. You can just reach inside your pocket and give it to somebody. You know, it solves the problem within a few seconds. The only thing is that, especially at conferences, for example, you lose a lot of context around all of these people. So
you just have a stack of business cards.
Exactly. I came back, you know, we started this company because I came back with these stacks of business cards, and you just don't remember, you know, who was important to my company, who should I follow up with faster.
So that's why there should be digital.
Exactly. You know, the smartphones allow us to record a lot of contextual information about, you know, all the new people that you meet, and we just want to apply that contextual information to context information in a nice way. So you could call it, you know, taking business cards to a next level. And that's not a problem that's going to be solved, overnight. People always expect startups and companies to do things overnight. Yeah. Exactly. But this is a problem that's going to take years, and maybe it's even the wrong approach. I mean, we're still learning as well.
Who still has paper business cards here? Okay, that's like about half. So you're getting along. Who wants to get rid of it? Okay, still some work to do on the evangelism there. But you want to get rid of them as well, probably because it saves trees, right?
It saves trees.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, of course. I think this is an example of making life better, even improve the quality of life, and also being more sustainable. So yeah, definitely.
But for us, the sustainability is really something that should be there by default, and not a feature.
Yeah.
And why do you want to get rid of them? You want to use Hives for that? Or?
No. They cost me a lot of time. I've noticed over the years that I use business cards a lot, and everybody then asks you one, and you give them one, and then they call you or they email you, and it takes a lot of time. And I noticed that if people are really interested in doing business with you, they can remember my 3-letter first name, and they can Google it, and they'll find me. And so it's a sort of more selective way of doing business with people. So I don't even bring them anymore.
Okay. And where do you guys keep your business cards? Those huge stacks. Do you have a drawer for that, or
in a box at the office?
In a box at the office. What about you?
Eventually put them in a CRM system, but and then throw them away. But yeah, in a box. Yeah.
You don't have a selection of the nicest cards you keep, or
these I put immediately in my phone actually. So.
Oh, you mean from other people?
Yeah.
I throw them away.
Throw them away. What about you?
I use my app, and I convert them immediately to contacts in the app.
You don't get aggressive when people hand you paper business cards?
No, not at all. Not at all. This is the way I distribute my own product.
Yeah, that sounds logical. All right.
Yeah, I'm not doing the business development part of the company, so I'm luckily not to receive too many business cards.
Okay, so you have to get used to all these people here. They're out in the wild now. Okay. Well, we move on to the lightning round, and maybe we should focus a little bit more on the theme of this conference, the urban future, although it's a bit abstract, but we're gonna do our best. So the first question, if you could just answer it pretty quickly, the 4 of you, and maybe after that we can have a little discussion about it. How is your company influencing the urban future, Renato?
Well, we're still small, so it would be a big statement to say that we're actually influencing the urban future. But what we're doing is, what I said before, contextual information, adding that to new contacts. So we basically remember where you've met somebody, or on what exact geolocation that was, or at what venue that was, for example. And that's part of information that we record. And I guess that eventually they'll become bigger. And
you will take it beyond that? Will you, at some point, suggest to people who are walking? So you're walking down the street, and then you can say, "Well, there's a guy coming up to you, and he has the same interests, or you should definitely talk to him because he's
maybe." I mean, we collect very big data sets at the moment about the contact information and all of the social networks that people are on, for example. And what we do with that data, we still need to figure out what that's going to be. But yeah, suggestions could be an option, definitely.
What would you do with that data?
Well, I think recommendation suggestions is an easy one. We gather so much data about what people are doing where, and there's so much opportunity in there, but it takes a lot of time and a lot of number crunching, and before you have really relevant information to share.
Yeah, it would be great if I wanted to ride on a boat or something. Your name would pop up, and I could hop on your boat right away.
Yeah, well, there's a new service, that's what I was talking about, that's doing that for cars, which is moving into one of his offices. So yes, those kind of services would be great. Yeah.
And how is Hives influencing the urban future?
Well, you mean as a company with our employees and office, or you mean as a service?
You get to pick.
You get to pick. Well, I think in many ways we're simply a very traditional company. We love to be in the city center, so we have 200 people working for us, and we try to find our office spaces within the center because we love city life, and we have a lot of young people working there. But I don't think it's really any revolutionary or whatever that we contribute as a corporate business.
And with the product, with Hives?
Not per se. What you do is enhance and help people, facilitate to be in touch with each other in any way, and if that's in a city or or in a village, I don't really care. No, not specifically for cities. No.
Okay. And what about you, Art?
Well, we hope to make it a little bit smarter and more sustainable, of course. And one of the things we hope to do is radically create that everyone changes their light bulbs. So we have a new company which is called Switch My Light, and we're gonna introduce a challenge to reduce 1 megawatt of energy within the next 2 months. This is 1,000 watts or 1 million watts. And hopefully with our small company we will create some impact in the cities too.
So you want to get rid of all light bulbs here in this city?
All the usual conventional light bulbs, yeah.
It must be depressing to cycle through the city and see all those lights in the offices.
Yeah, no, it's not depressing. It's more like giving me energy to really make a change. Because,
okay.
Yeah.
So you've just designed a McDonald's app. How's that changing the city?
I think we facilitate. Well, that's a good example of already an existing content which already exists. You bring it to mobile. That's one way. If you say you want to do something new, it's never have been done before, and it really changes the future, your urban future. Then you do different things. I guess we we bring brands to mobile, but we also are launching in the coming months our own products, and one of those products are probably is more related to this subject.
Okay.
We're going to touch mobile flirting, and of course
mobile flirting.
Flirting, like dating, but flirting. And we take all the good things about mobile, location-based.
Yeah.
AR is possible, and those kind of things in a very fancy, cool way, and we bring it to mobile. And I think.
So how's it gonna work? You just give random encounters with people looking for a date.
It's not a chat roulette. It's more see the dates around you.
Yeah.
You can see with a layer kind of few people.
So I'm standing in a bar and I'm looking for a girlfriend. I just point at the crowd.
You can see who's available for a flirt. Yeah.
Are there any girls here that would use that? Well, I like the goal, so please keep trying.
Yeah. We'll see about it. But
if I ask the guys, I'll probably get a different response.
It's done in a funny way, and then of course it's something which is new, and that's maybe changing it. So we're doing also our innovative ideas next to the normal business.
All right. I'm just checking Twitter whether there are any questions. I'm pretty sure that you're. Oh, there's somebody in the room who thinks it's very unpersonal mobile flirting. Let's see if I can recognize her. Where are you? Meekijken? Ja, Geke van der Sluis thinks it's very unpersonal. She just likes to...
She just ran away.
Yeah,
in the corner.
Okay, there you are. Okay. You agree with that, or you think it's very,
no,
very
I think there's a market for it. It's of course a huge market, and a small piece of it is probably it's interesting. It can be a funny way to interact. It's like a WhatsApp. It's more like WhatsApp, but then on a funny, flirty way, and you don't see where somebody exactly is, but just like 100 meters that way or a kilometer that way. So that's
okay. And Geke, are you single or? No. Oh, okay. So you can forget about her anyway.
So
He's looking for the single girls. Okay. Well, talking about girls, I was walking down the street recently, and a girl came up to me out of the blue, and she asked me for directions. And I was like, wow, people are still asking for directions. And I pulled out my smartphone and I told her where to go. But after that, it got me thinking there's this digital gap of people who have smartphones or still have that old Nokia things that we used to have in high school. What do you think about that digital gap? Is that a problem? Should we solve it?
It'll solve itself.
Yeah?
Think about, all generations that are being born at the moment. It's insane how proficient they are with all new technology. It's like a second nature. I mean, for us, for our generation, it's already practically a second nature. We do have some reservations here and there, but for them, it's like completely embedded into their lives. And I do not think that'll be a big problem. It'll be a big problem for the older generations, definitely.
Because for my generation, well, I work at a newspaper, so maybe that's a bit more traditional, but a lot of colleagues are still using rather old phones, and they think Foursquare is ridiculous, and they don't share everything they do. Do you think that will change, or
Yeah.
do they have to get used to it, or?
I definitely think so. I mean, maybe over here it will arrive a bit later, but eventually, I think even in 10 years, the world will look so drastically different. You can't almost imagine it.
So people without smartphones will die, and the new ones will use smartphones.
Well, everybody's gonna die eventually, but yeah, if you put it simple.
But maybe the intentions of this girl that walked up to you were very different, and she didn't really want directions. But
well,
so you completely missed the point, probably.
Yeah. Well, hopefully I'll have that app soon, and I can show that. So, what about you? Do you think the digital gap is a problem?
I think it's a problem, but not in the context as we discuss it right now, but more in the context of the developing world and the developed world. But I also think the market will solve it in the end. So I think they will take a leapfrog as they did with the mobile phone. They didn't have a landline, but now they have a mobile phone. That's the same, I think, as they will do with the smartphone and with more and more stuff like that.
Are you as hopeful?
Well, I don't think the discussion is whether it's good or not good. It's unstoppable, probably. It will happen. Every young kid likes the iPad, grows up with the iPad. They don't know an history without the iPad. So if you say it's better to read a book, probably it is, I guess. It's still unstoppable. So we have to prepare for those changes, make the best of it, I guess.
So I should enjoy any girl coming up to me asking for directions while it lasts.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks for that advice. So now up for the exciting part. You guys get to ask each other questions. And you prepared that, you thought about it all day, and now you can finally ask that question. Who do you want to...
Can I start with Renato?
Sure, yeah.
Because I was reading up on your blog before we started, and I read your last post, and there you made a statement where you said that you can develop great software anywhere, and it doesn't matter which area you live in or work in or whatever, you can be anywhere, and there's no excuse for not developing great software. And I love that idea, but I don't think it's realistic. So can you maybe elaborate a little bit on why you think that it really doesn't matter where you are?
Well, this got partially to do with Amsterdam as well. For my post, that one specifically was more like, especially in the tech blog scene at the moment. There's like this war from the perspective of technology hubs in different European cities. So you have London and Berlin and Amsterdam all fighting for the title of who's going to be the next Silicon Valley. I'm really opposing that because every city's got their own culture, and that directly influences the products that are being built over there. So my thoughts initially were about, you can build great products in Berlin or in Amsterdam or in London for that matter. It doesn't really matter. But of course, when you go to some mountain village in Italy, that's going to influence your software development as well. You don't have the same resources as you have in a highly urban environment. So
it only counts for cities.
I think it would only. I mean, I could pack my bags and start hacking somewhere in like a little cabin or something. But of course, that will influence the output eventually.
Isn't there some story about a great startup who started somewhere in the desert or?
That's a good question.
Oh, there's always the exception, of course. But taking the exception and saying it can be done by anyone anywhere, that I don't really believe. I think there's such a huge advantage in having a large home market like in the States, for instance. The infrastructure in terms of services, financing, etc. around it, it is a big difference, and it's hard to say that it is just as easy if you have the same skills and the same idea in Amsterdam or in Berlin versus let's say New York or the Valley. I really don't think, I wish it were true, but I don't think it is.
Yeah. So. Well, that's of course in terms of product marketing and getting your product out there. I think
but that's an important part if you want to build great software.
Of course. But if your product is inherently good, if you design and build a fantastic product that appeals to a very broad amount of people, I'm not just talking about a niche subculture, but really something, some human factors, for example, like Apple does. They make products that appeal to, humankind, basically. Then it doesn't really matter where you start that. I mean, you need the market, of course, to eventually,
I'm sure you would love to
make
start a startup on a boat.
Sure.
Who's your target?
Well, actually, I thought a little bit about it, but I would love to ask a question to everyone, to the entrepreneurs on the table and to everyone here. And I'm a little bit copying a question Bill Gates recently asked at Harvard University, where he was giving a speech on everything he's doing right now, on his life basically, but also on his foundation at the moment. And it's a little bit more realistic, but I still would love to ask it. And he asked, why are the brightest minds of this planet not working on the most challenging problems? And that's, I think, kind of good question to ask yourself as well. It's not that you have to be grey wool sock or that you really have to focus only on sustainability, but I think it's good for everyone to think of how you can integrate sustainability or creating a better or a smarter or a nicer world in everything you do. So that's the question actually to everyone. And I think some of you are already working on it and some maybe see a lot of opportunities in it.
So, but what was Bill Gates' answer to his own question? Because he started with it not at the very beginning, but only after he had a couple of billion on the bank.
Absolutely. So that's what he was telling in this speech as well. So, don't wait until you're 60 and maybe be a billionaire to start realizing that it's actually a lot of fun to work on challenging problems and to actually make this world a little bit better and making money at the same time.
And what happened to the Microsoft products when he was leading it? Because it was thanks to Steve Jobs, something new changed. Microsoft was not reinventing the same things. With Steve Jobs, the iPhone came, the Mac came, better software came. So even when he, as a bright guy, was leading Microsoft, somewhere when you have a big organization, there's no innovation anymore.
This is a big lesson. If you invite a bunch of geeks to talk about technology, it always wind up in a discussion between Apple and Microsoft. So let's go there. I just want to ask, are you putting your great mind to use?
No, I focus on the business at the moment, and that's taking all my time. Yeah.
And after that, you're going to conquer the world with...
And then when I sold the business, I can focus on sustainability.
Okay. It's a lot more fun actually to combine it.
Yes.
By the way, you're all invited to a clean drinks borrel tonight, where the 6 finalists of the Green Challenge, 6 brilliant minds that made it to the finals, who all came up with great solutions to actually make this world a little bit better. They will all have a pitch there, and it's good fun to get inspired.
Do you have a question?
Actually, yeah, I have a question to both you and Ime. Since I really like entrepreneurship and people coming up with original ideas. You already answered my question in an answer previously, by saying that you're working on your own products instead of doing development.
Okay, so let's focus on Ime then.
Yeah.
So, what's your question?
So, Ime, when are you exiting Hives and doing your own company?
I might get some news here.
No,
I'm going to get the PR answer.
No, we sold Hives to TMG, and we had an agreement with TMG that as a management we would stay on for at least 2 years, and we're having a lot of fun doing so. What I'm going to do after that, I really don't know. I have plans for sailing around the world for a couple of years and thinking about what I want to do after. Maybe it's going to be my Bill Gates moment, and it's not too late. I really don't know. I've done Hives, I've done similar stuff before that. I don't see much of a challenge in doing something like that again, at least not now. So I don't know.
You don't have a small notebook with ideas for your own ventures?
I have lots of ideas, but I really can't see myself at the moment doing this building up this tension of having this startup and building it to something great and then selling it. I'm not a serial entrepreneur in the sense that I like to do the same thing over and over again. I think I'm going to be ending up in a complete different setting, industry, I don't know, politics or something like that. I don't know.
Okay, well, good answer.
All right. And what's your question?
I got a question for Ime. Almost a year ago, I think the Telegraaf Media Group acquired Hives. So I was expecting, of course, it's not happening quick, I understand that, but I was expecting a more integration of the paper and the social media.
Yeah, I think most people, when they hear about, Telegraaf acquiring Hives, they think about Telegraaf, the newspaper. But Telegraaf, the company, is a lot more than just the newspaper. And most of the interesting parts of TMG as a greater company is not the newspaper in itself. So yes, you would expect that, but the way we work is very simple. We list the 10 best ideas where we can make synergies, make money, by combining the companies. And the newspaper wasn't on the list. So there's other, things that have more priority. Yeah.
Okay. Is the editor-in-chief of the Telegraaf on Hives?
Jules Paradijs. Well, I have nice conversations with him, but I don't think he's on Hives. No.
Okay, well that would be a good first step.
Well, he doesn't need to be. It's one of the services, one of the social networks. If he wants to use something else, that's fine with us. But he doesn't need to be.
Okay. Well, and now we open up the floor. Who has a question? It's one of these guys here. There's somebody gonna walk around with a microphone. Oh, there's a. There. And would you please introduce yourself as well?
Yes, I'm Peter Van Wijk, third year BA student in Rotterdam. And I was wondering about your discussion about Wi-Fi, because I'm using the regular network for all my internet activities. And why don't you develop that instead of trying to get Wi-Fi routers all over the place, which are quite expensive and not really efficient?
You think it's a better alternative?
What is a better?
Just use the regular network we're already using to get internet out of the air.
3G. Okay, but it doesn't work. It doesn't scale for at least a couple of years. Sorry, Vodafone, but it's in some places. If you're alone, then you can use the existing networks to do everything you want. But if everybody starts watching TV right now on their mobile phones, everything would crash. It simply doesn't work for at least a couple of years. So we need alternative infrastructures, and we need them more fast than they are being developed right now. The telco operators are having troubles with finding the right mix of pricing models to make sure that all the lost revenue in voice and SMS is being caught up by having different prices for data. They're not investing as much as they should if you really want a future where everybody can have wireless internet. But maybe someone from Vodafone can comment on that.
Okay, thank you.
I have one add on that. One of the Green Challenge entries was combining an LED lighting with a Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's a funny technology improvement.
Because then you could just grab internet from any lamppost in the city. Yeah. That's a really interesting technology. I studied that. Cool. So, but if you put your hand in front of the light, the internet disappears. So that's a bit of an issue.
So where is Monique? So you asked. There you are. Monique has a question to Art, and would be great if you'd ask that yourself. So if you would like to make a run over there, yeah. Yeah, but I'm
there's
really
coming.
Interested in how you ask it. She's sitting right here.
Hi, thanks. Monique, I was wondering what happened and that you started your quest for sustainability, and when did you start the quest?
Do you have 10 minutes? No.
Let's do the 1 minute version.
Yeah, no, the 1 minute version very briefly. I read the book of the Club of Rome, which is called Limits to Growth, which was actually starting the whole sustainability movement in the 70s. I was reading that when I was about 17 years old. And then 4 years later, I was selected for the Climate Change College. And there was a program of a year where you teach everything about climate change, the effects, the causes. And they take you to the Arctic to basically see what's happening over there, to do some basic science. Mm-hmm. So, but to answer it in a little bit broader perspective, I think everyone needs his or her own context to really, start focusing on this. It can be really seeing the necessity of it, but also seeing the enormous opportunities of it. So it can be different.
Okay,
it can be melting Arctic, but it can also be a business opportunity.
Is it idealistic for you, or is it commercially interesting?
For me, it's both. But it starts from a perspective that I really think a lot need to change. Okay. But to be honest, I don't care if a CEO of a big company, if he is opportunistic in this part. What matters to me is that things change.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you, Monique. Who has a question? The last one. Okay, then
Silence.
we'll wrap it up. Thank you guys for coming here and sharing your knowledge and your opinions. Thank you for being here, guys, everyone, and thank you for watching. You can follow us on Twitter, on Firestarters NL, and watch these videos on YouTube or via our site. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.